Hello everybody, this is That Shy Guy Matt, and today I'm continuing my series, Everything Wrong with Half-Life. Today I'm doing Everything Wrong with Half-Life 2. This may be split into multiple episodes, depending on how far it goes, but as you know, I react to the Half-Life series, and I point out everything wrong with it, including some things on really absurd level. Don't get angry in the comments if you're like, well, this is there for a reason, or that's like this. Trust me, I know. I'm just doing this for fun. But when you look at these games, you could always pick out things that just don't make any sense. And usually in the past games, if you watch my videos, I spray something that says no sense after I point it out. But in Half-Life 2, they don't have that function, not in the single player at least. But that said, I'm very much looking forward to this because I haven't played Half-Life 2 for a long time. This is the unmodded version, so anything I can pick apart is original. That said, let us just hop into Half-Life 2. The first thing you know is that you spawn on this train, but there's no really clear indication of what happens. I'm assuming I'm blind. I'm assuming that G-Man spawns you on this train with a portal, but it doesn't quite explain why nobody on the train noticed. You'd think they would notice a man just randomly appearing on the train and getting off that wasn't there earlier. But whatever, you know, it makes no sense. Because as soon as you get off the train, you look to your right, you see out here, and it looks good. What about the electrical pole in the middle in the distance there? There are no wires connected to that. What is even the point of that? There's no electricity going to it. It makes no sense. So, I'm not an engineer. Look at these trains. These wheels do appear to be on the track. They almost seem to be indented in the track, which I'm pretty sure that's not how trains work. But past that, look at this train track itself. Right there. There's a gap. Right here, there's a gap too. How did this train even make it over this platform without derailing? That just makes no sense. Then you come to our train, which we came on, this section. You're probably going to notice these wheels. They're not even on the track. They're off to the right side. Those are off to the left side. How did this train even get on here? How did this train even travel? All of this is totally broken. Again, I'm not an engineer, but logically, this makes no sense. Alongside the fact that they're not even connected. So, whatever. Maybe I'm just really dumb and don't understand how trains work. Maybe it's magnets again. Sort of like from the first game, the whole magnet thing. Could be. So if you look at the engine of this train, at least what I assume is the conductor engine kind of place, you have this little door that exits here. But look how close this platform is. That cannot be saved. There's no way that that's designed. This weight is just a little bit off. This would smash on the end of that platform and derail it. Yet again, not connected on this side either. It makes no sense. So we're going to ignore the black voids in the game, because I did that a lot in the first game. Just question these wires. Well, these wires go, assumably, all the way down there. They're connected to these lines, although technically, they just kind of go through them, as you can see. But I still don't see, like, any generators. These just go to a pole over here. Then they go up, and for some reason, the electricity connects to a metal bridge. Except for this line, it comes from this lamp, and randomly connects through this metal, and comes down to this TV. That makes no sense. Why is that connected to there? Why does it come from here? Is this the only thing that has electricity? But then why is the light off? Matter of fact, all the lights are off. Even these lights are off. This makes no sense. So something I'm going to point out right off the bat is, notice the trash on the ground. You're going to see a lot of these particular 4 items. These 2 appear to be cleaning products. You see these a lot. Why is there so many cleaning products in the city? Have you seen how dirty everything is? Nobody uses these cleaning products. And then there's also these little propane tanks. Or, I could be wrong, they're supposed to be pop bottles. You don't see anybody using them for air. Then you get to these. The Chinese food takeout container. Maybe it's just me, but I don't recall seeing any takeout places while playing Half-Life 2. So where are people getting these? Because these things are all over the place. None of this, you know, it makes no sense. And here, you could pick up the phone, but you could already see that it's been cut. So why is the phone even bothered to be put back on here? Why? Who would put it back on there? These phones don't even work. Why not just remove them? Why even bother putting the receiver back there? It makes no sense. On a random side note, I should also add, I'm not quite sure why there's so much luggage everywhere. We've seen a guy get off the train and he had luggage in his hand, and he went through here. Do people just leave their luggage here sometimes? Some people die on the train, and then the luggage gets put here? I don't know. It makes no sense. So I know the aliens took over at this point. And that's fine, you know, I get it. But it is nice that even though Dr. Breen is selling you water, I'm assuming clean water, if you kind of look at the label right here in the middle, it kind of looks like it says it's $1.35 or $1.55 for a can of water. First off, I don't know why it's a can of water. Canned water tastes weird. $1.55 even is not bad for a can of water. So life isn't too bad in City 17 if that's the cost of a bottle of water. Well, a can of water. Just saying. So when you start to play, you start to notice these posters as you go along through the game. What are the point of these? I mean, I'm assuming that's an alien language, but are these supposed to be signifying something to us, the player? Or maybe the people of City 17? What do they signify? This signifies circle with sky, yellow pitchfork with dove flying, black pitchfork on emerald with people raising their hands. What does this even mean? It makes no sense. So when you come through here, you have to walk through this fenced area, get down to the guards. But I'm kind of curious why these people don't come through. Now you might be saying, well, it's a train station, Matt. Obviously they're waiting for the train to leave. But did you look at those trains that were outside? Here are the trains. This is an engineering car. This is an engineering car. But these only go forward. So obviously they're not getting on the train to go back, because there's no engines on this end. You might be saying, well, there's these tracks, right? Well, the platform doesn't go to those tracks. This is blocked off. So again, what are the people doing in this area? Are they standing here too afraid to go by? This guy knocked his Chinese food on the ground, which again, I have no idea where he got it from. So they're waiting here for something, and I don't understand. It makes no sense. So they don't want you to go to the plaza exit, but if you noticed, it's just the facade, because there's nothing actually. So I'm guessing they just tell everybody, go through this and get checked by security. This is just to make you feel like, oh, maybe I have an option to exit, but you actually don't. Good facade for them, but again, it makes no sense. So they stop letting you look into this room, and you think, oh, it's because the guy's being interrogated. But let's actually look inside the room. He just stands there. What is the point? He's just standing there for no reason? And look at this guy. There's blood all over. He doesn't look injured. Then again, could be from a previous body, but the worst offender of this is this magical floating charger. It's not even on the wall. Who are they trying to fool? None of this makes any sense. So when you talk to Barney, on the council you see Dr. Kleiner here, right? Well, let's look at where Dr. Kleiner actually... He's just in this weird solid room with like walls that are actually on the floor instead. Well, in addition to, I should say. I don't know how he got up here. I don't even know how he got in this room. And he's just staring at a big blue empty screen, so I'm not sure what's going on here, but it makes no sense. So once you get past the security room, you come to here and you have to go up there, but how did these boxes get in this little caged area? Maybe I'm just really dumb, but I don't see a door to get into this cage. So again, how did those boxes get there? Did they shove them in there and then they're like, hey, let's build a fence around there? It just makes no sense. Now all you have to do is learn to move boxes, and you get up here, and you're like, oh, just jump out this window. I realize there's a box down there for you to land on, but I'm pretty sure going by this height, I'd probably twist an ankle or fracture something. That box wouldn't hold me. I'd just fall through that and probably even get splinters in my body. So, again, that fall, it makes no sense. So, here we see people standing in line. What is this? What is this supposed to give them? Yeah, like, we know it's food, but what comes out of there? I mean, I can't even guess. I mean, it doesn't even look like it stores a lot of food. Is there someone on the other side that puts food in there? Then they take it out? Do they have to pay for it? Is it free? What is this? How does this food dispensary work? What do you eat? Is this where the Chinese food comes from? I mean, I don't see any Chinese food boxes on the ground. This must be it. All the aliens serve humans is Chinese food, I guess. Honestly, not that bad, I guess, but that's a lot of MSG. Regardless, it makes no sense. Okay, so you come outside to the main plaza. Be fair, maybe this is because of the aliens. Look how empty and barren everything is here. Is this the aliens doing? Or is there just not a lot of stuff for people to do? Again, I'm mixed on what it could be. Now we face that same issue we faced at the train yard. All these electricity wires. Like, look at these. These just go right into brick walls. How does that work? There's not even a power junction there. It makes no sense. Now, looking past the wire issue, let's look at this TV monitor. This maybe hollow projection. It's pretty cool, no doubt. But, who installed this? It's not even attached to the wall. And down here, it goes through the wall. Did the aliens install it like this? Did they make humans do this? Look, it totally goes through the wall here, too. This is just terrible installation. How do they manage to build a giant citadel but can't even install a TV monitor right on a pole like this? It makes no sense. Here we come upon a tree, and let's be honest, none of us are really going to notice a tree, but I happen to notice it, and it's kind of confusing because half of these branches are growing into this building. Now, I realize the aliens probably don't trim it, but how are these trees growing into this building? This is like bricks. This makes no sense. The one thing I'm going to point out right off the bat that's kind of confusing that I think we kind of all overlook, there's a swing set here, there's children's stuff, baby doll, little tic-tac-toe thing, but where are all the kids? As you go through this game, you realize there are no children here. Now at Black Mesa, it makes more sense because it's a science facility, unless they had like a bring your kids to work day, which I doubt they would. But here, I have not seen a single child in this game. Do the aliens abduct the children? Are people not able to procreate somehow? I'm not sure what's going on here. Mass sterilization? I don't know. It's just weird. Makes you think. And it makes no sense. So we reach an apartment building. We go into somebody's apartment. Granted, there's not really doors on some of these places, but look. More bleach. Look at this place. Does this look like it's been cleaned? Where do they get all this bleach cleaning supplies from? What is the point? I don't get it. And how do they cook? The electric wires are plugged into the building directly in through cement walls and brick walls. I'm not sure how they cook. Just like this TV. I mean, I know the electricity is gone now, but yeah, how does it even get electricity? It makes no sense. Well, I just want to point out, when they come running into this apartment, you look outside, see that tic-tac-toe? It's all perfectly lined up. How is that possible? When I went by it, it was not lined up like when I went into the building. Did I magically switch realities? How did this get like this? Something fishy is going on here, and it makes no sense. So the guards chase you up here, you escape through this hole. But what would have happened if this wasn't here? You would just be trapped here, and Gordon Freeman would be shot, and that would be the end of the game. Thank goodness there was a giant hole here. Just saying. You got lucky. Now, thank goodness you have all these ledges to run across a window that happens to be open. Because if not, you'd be totally dead right here. Because where are you going to go? They got the vehicles with the guns on them. They're down here shooting at you. Just saying. Again, you lucked out. Well, you enter this room, and you get knocked out by a guard. They have a bunch of their little batons with them, and then Alex comes along and manages to knock them all out. But, how did she do that? She doesn't have a gun on her. I know she has that one little device, of course. Yeah, how did she even take on this many guards? It makes no sense. So we come across this section with Alex, and she opens up this hidden doorway, this box, but how did this door even slide over there? There's no rails, and if you notice, it also kind of slides halfway into the wall, but there was no slot there to begin with. How does this work? How did they even install it? It makes no sense. Now you come to the pop machine that doubles as a doorway to where Dr. Kleiner is, but I gotta say, this one is definitely not well hidden. Look at the side of this pop machine. A slightly reflective, blackish, probably more bluish color, right? So it's like, hey, that looks like a pop machine. But then you come to this one, that kind of sticks out compared to this. How no one found this is beyond me. Yeah, it just makes no sense. So you come into the lab here, and no doubt this is definitely cool, especially the first time you're playing this. You got a teleporter, you got monitors, you got your powered suit, you got whatever this is. Doesn't the Combine notice this? All the power being drawn from this particular location? These are aliens. They should be super smart compared to us. How do they not monitor the electricity and not notice this location's sucking up electricity? I mean, I'm just saying, it makes no sense. So you come across this teleporter, and might I say there's an issue with this. Look what happens. See all that electricity and particles going through the air? How do I know I'm not getting radiation or gamma rays or something? And that teleports. What if those little arcs hit me and I died? This seems super unsafe. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Again, in the game I'm a scientist, but in real life I'm not a scientist, so maybe I just misunderstand how this works. Just saying, it makes no sense. So here you can see they have security cameras set up to look around the area. That's pretty cool. But look at their main camera. So this one just faces a fenced area with a guard. I mean, okay, I guess that's useful. This one is just of a fence. I don't know what the purpose of this one is. This one is of generators. Why? This one is the only one that makes sense because look, it's looking at the pop machine. Or that, okay, that one does make sense. The rest, it makes no sense. So this is a pretty cool setup, right? With these computers, better screens. But there seems to be an issue with all of these. They're all turned on, right? Ignoring the fact that there is no green lights on them. But when you walk around the back, yeah, there's cords going to certain spots, but none for where the power is. This one doesn't even have anything, but this monitor's on. That monitor doesn't even have a cord going to them. It all goes into this somehow. So, how are any of these even on? This makes no sense. Now you come across this printer. I'm not sure what it's printing. No, these are the older dot matrix printers, but it's been printing for a long time now. And it's filling up this bin, right? First off, I don't think the aliens recycle at this point. Just saying. But beyond that, shouldn't this be filled by now? That's a lot of paper. Look at the printing on it. You notice anything? The lines all shift as they move. I don't know about you, but our old dot matrix printer didn't have moving ink lines like that. I'm not sure what kind of tech this is, but this makes no sense. So you just run across Barney here, and he gives you your crowbar. Okay, we get it. Gordon Freeman and his crowbar. It's iconic. But, seriously? You couldn't give me a gun? Why would you give me a crowbar? It's frustrating, and it makes no sense. Now, I just want to point out, if you just sit here and stare at the Citadel and all the drones it's releasing, you could literally sit here for like half an hour. It's just going to keep releasing more and more drones. Trillions of them, if you waited long enough. How do they all fit in that facility? I mean, that is a lot of drones. We're in there later, and it's big. I didn't see any drones to begin with. I don't know where all these drones come from. It makes no sense. So I had to pause this so I didn't miss it. Look at these wheels on this train. As it's moving, somehow it's moving on this track. Again, I'm not a train engineer, but I'm pretty sure that's not how trains work. Again, this makes no sense. So when you get to the roof here, I want to say it's really kind of messy in the city. Some of the architecture, these like, what are the point of these being really strange? I think that's a road, but then it's not because there's girders there. Then you have these weird, like, buildings on top of buildings. It's just really odd. I don't know if the humans designed City 17 or this is from what the aliens did, but the layout, it makes no sense. So here you see there's a health kit and some ammo. But I just want to say, why didn't they just hide it like under the floorboard so you could just go in and get it? Isn't this just a little bit too obvious? Wouldn't they catch on, the Combine, about these logos being stashed here? Yeah, just look, you got all this space. I could have just crawled in there and got it, and they would have never known. Just saying, it makes no sense. So I just want to point out, you'll find these little supply crates as you go through the game that even say supply. When you break them open, they have health kits in them, they have ammo, they have all kinds of things. How are people of City 17, the citizens, not just bashing all these open and getting supplies and then taking on the Combine? I mean, all the ammo and health kits you could get from here and grenades and stuff, just saying, you could have revolted by now. It makes no sense. So, my train glitched for some reason, which isn't normal. I just want to point out that, look at these trains. These wheels aren't even on the rails again. How is this train even successfully going down the rails like this? Again, it makes no sense. So when you come down here, fall through, and this is when you see your first Vortigaunt that isn't collared up. You see one in the train station, right? But if Gordon came down here and he's seen an unshackled one, what stopped him from just instantly shooting him? Like, oh my gosh, it's an enemy, right? Because I'm assuming Gordon's been in stasis for a long time. He would have actually just shot this Vortigaunt, not knowing they were good guys. It makes no sense. So while a minor detail, you come from under this train, you see this little bird fly away, and get sucked up by the barnacle. But I killed this barnacle. So why is this bird still dead? Technically should have been free, because that's just a sticky tongue, right? Just saying. It makes no sense. So when you come over here, you see a bunch of people be shot. But look at all these guards. 1, 2, 3, 4 guards, and 1 on a turret. Realistically, Gordon would just be shot here. I know he's wearing his suit, so he's kind of armored. But I don't know. I just feel like these are not good odds in Gordon's favor. Just saying. When you get through this tunnel here, come across this broken vent. Again, I'm going to say it. The odds that all these things are broken so Gordon could get through and escape. But beyond that, this lady tells you she's going to stay here in case anybody else comes. All her buddies were just killed over here. And if any more Combine come through, they're just going to kill her. Why would you stay? Why not just escape with Gordon? I'm just saying. It makes no sense. Well, here, they throw a bunch of explosive barrels down here. I think like 6 of them. And they detonate, and it opens yet another blocked off area. Whatever. Apparently, Gordon just has really good luck. Not to mention, he didn't get blown up from 6 explosive barrels. It makes no sense. So here you run through this whole section, come out, you go underwater, you come over here, you climb up here. The whole time, there's a squad of Combine shooting at you and dropping explosive barrels. How do you survive this? I don't understand. You know what? On top of that, are you even wearing a helmet with your HAV suit? Honestly, I don't remember, but I don't think you are. So I'm pretty sure the concussion from the explosions would have just blown out your eardrums and you would have died. Just saying, it makes no sense. Along with the fact that, look, 4 holes in the bars you need to go through. Luck and no sense. So you come across this section, and it's pretty exhilarating. You gotta run around here and escape the helicopter that's shooting at you, which, again, you should be dead because it's shooting at you with a machine gun, but this helicopter goes through these wires, crashes into the trees, it crashes into the building. How is it surviving? It should have just killed itself. Again, it makes no sense. So you come across 2 of these puzzles where you have to throw explosive barrels and other stuff down here. So the barnacles are busy, and you could get past this because you slide down, but what if there wasn't any debris there? You'd just be stuck and you'd be eaten by barnacles. Just saying, it makes no sense. Now we come to this little place. We have to swim over here, but what is the point of this thing? Just to move the water around? Maybe filter something? What's even powering it? It's just like built into the garbage that's there. Again, this makes no sense. Here we go again. I should just be dead. Just saying. Just no sense. I just want to know, what are the odds that you get this far into the city and just happen to come across the place where you needed to get for your little speedboat thingy, right? This city is huge. City 17. I don't know what the odds of this were, but whatever. It makes no sense. So you got your little boat, you can speed through here, and don't get me wrong, playing this for the first time, this was fun. This was cool to do. But this is just all sludge water and barren and boring. This is such a boring level when you think about it. Just saying, it makes no sense. Also, thankfully, these sewers all happen to be just big enough for you to fit down with this vehicle. Imagine if you got into this and you got like a 1/10 of a mile ahead and it was just like this big. Like, oops, I guess I'm not taking this anymore. So just saying, luck again. Again, the G-Man is just here to randomly appear and taunt me. That's his job, just to teleport here and taunt me. I hate him. So you come across this puzzle, and you have to put these little barrels underneath this to help raise the platform. But what if there was no barrels? Your options are to just go back and do nothing, I guess, or just live in this little sewer, little brief tunnel section for the rest of your life. Just saying, it makes no sense. So here, as you go through, they keep sending these little drop ships to drop off troops to chase you, which I don't quite get how they're going to catch up to you, and shoot. Why not just send a bunch of your little Combine helicopters? That would be the most efficient way to kill me. Just saying, these guys aren't all that smart. So, as you're going through the stuff with your airboats, you come in here for some supplies and stuff. But I just want to say, at least this guy died with a smile on his face. He died like, just saying, trying to be positive. Hey look, this didn't work. So you had to blow up something random over here, get this to swing and open this door. Again, just saying, Gordon's super lucky. Here we are. Once you get past that puzzle, you gotta fend off all these Combine. Just to get back to your boat. I'm just saying, again, I don't think Gordon would actually survive this. Just saying, it makes no sense. Now we come across a car with rockets. Again, I know Gordon's special, but he should be dead from all these rockets. Just saying, I don't know how Gordon survives rockets. It makes no sense. I also want to point out an issue, how I seem to be invisible again. You notice I have no hands, but I'm able to steer? I had the same problem in the Half-Life games, the original. I put on my HEV suit even though I don't even have a body. But just to double check, let's look. Well, I splash around, but apparently I have no body again. And in this, I don't even see my hand. Do I have a hand with my gun? So I do have floating hands at least. So I'm not sure how I pilot this, but whatever. It makes no sense. So as you're going along these canals, escaping this helicopter, you know, it's a pretty nice cityscape. I'll give it that. But there are some issues. First issue is I'm not sure why everything is fenced along all these areas. Maybe it's just something the Combine did, but beyond that, check out these electric towers. What's this? What's going on here? These don't go anywhere. How does that work? I mean, look at those towers in the background. Those poles. None of these poles have electricity. How is anything powered around here? This makes no sense. Okay, one thing I will say on a serious note is while much of these things I pick on in this game are just for fun, I absolutely think the driving, whether it's the boats or the cars in this game, were just overused. They got so tedious after a while. It was cool to see Half-Life 2 in a new engine and be this amazing, but still, the segments took up like more than half the game and it just felt overdone. So I can't say that makes no sense. That's just how they designed it. Just thought I'd point that out though. So when you come to this puzzle, you have to fill up this thing so it lifts this ramp so you could jump this gate. What if you didn't have all these extra materials to put in there? I mean, as it is, you have just enough to stick in there. So again, Gordon would come to this spot and he'd be screwed, and then what? Again, it makes no sense. I do have some questions about these layouts. Layout's a big thing with Half-Life 2. Like, where did all these sewer canals come from? All these drainage areas? Was City 17 originally like this? Like, what is this? Is this just where overflow water goes? Where did this pipe go? Why is it so full of dirt? Because it doesn't look like it connects to anything back there. What was all this even for? Was there a lot of water before? Because as you go through these rivers, there's even giant ships that are stuck on land. They don't really explain what happened to all the water. Like, who built this? The Resistance? It just happened to be here from when Gordon came? There's a lot of confusing things, and it makes no sense. Okay, so you come to the end of this little thing with your airboat, and they raise a gate to let you in, but is this how they normally go to and from different places around City 17? Does somebody drive this airboat back to where it came from? Is there more than one airboat? It seems like an awful lot of work to set up all these little places to go to, unless I'm not understanding something. Or was this all just set up for Gordon in hopes that he would even come back at some point? Because this is in the future, correct? So, I don't know. It makes no sense. Might I just add on a side note, why are these guys Vortigaunt? Why are they so happy to see Gordon? Do you know how many hundreds of Vortigaunts I probably slaughtered at Black Mesa? Do they somehow know that I'm a good guy and I just was murdering them because I was scared? How you know, it just... there's something missing in the story there. That they're just suddenly friendly to me because I'm like some chosen one, even though I slaughtered half of their race. Just saying, it makes no sense. So I just want to point out, your gun on your airboat seems to have infinite ammo. It runs out, but then it automatically refills. Now, looking at this gun, it looks like it's chain belt fed in from this tiny little ammo box, right? So that doesn't hold a lot of bullets as it is, but how does it refill itself? Did the Vortigaunt somehow have a magical portal in it that just keeps infinitely refilling ammo? Because in reality, half the stuff I shot by now, I wouldn't have been able to shoot. I just would have been killed or stuck because I'd be out of ammo. This makes no sense. So here you come across a gate. You have to climb up here, spin the wheel, open the gate, yada yada yada. Why don't the Combine just destroy this so anybody trying to pass through here can't get through? You'd think this would be a logical thing to stop people from escaping or moving around secretly. So this makes no sense. So again, I'm not an electrician, but I'm pretty sure I know how electric towers work. Look at this. You're meaning to tell me this huge power comes all the way over here and then just has one line or a little bit of lights over here, some lights over there? That's not what that does. That's not how that works. This makes no sense. So you see this little water silo tower right here, and you know, it looks pretty good, but so there's ladders up there to get on top of it, but how do you get to that ladder? Am I missing something? This just seems like bad design. What is there some... Can I fit in this pipe? I don't think I could fit in this pipe. How does one reach up there to climb to the top? Who designed this? This makes no sense. So here, you had to jump off of the dam and land down here. Now, again, I know I'm wearing an HEV suit, but I'm pretty sure the impact from hitting that water would have killed me, or at least breaking a bunch of my bones. Probably my legs, my feet, maybe crack some ribs. I don't know. That fall from being in that, nah, I don't think I would have been okay. Just saying. It makes no sense. So we made it to the end of this little path we have to go on. You get off here and you have to go over here, but what's this? Again, not an electrician, but I'm pretty sure there's wires usually involved here. What are these little transformers for then? This stuff hurts my brain. Look at these. There's no wires. These towers in the back, they don't go anywhere past here. So they're just here to power this? It makes no sense. So I just want to point out something. When you jump up here, you see this little drawing. And I know it's supposed to say rotato, but I don't know. I think that's actually supposed to say potato. I mean, and when you think of potato, who do you think of? GLaDOS. Just saying. I don't know. Maybe I'm just looking into it too much. Okay, so we come across the lab here with Eli and Vortigern and all them, but look at Eli's leg. I know what a prosthetic is, of course. And I've seen these, but are those pistons? Why would you have pistons attached to your leg? Yeah, that makes no sense. Unless I am wrong. Let me know in the comments. But I've never seen pistons on a simple leg design like that. Just saying. Now, I want to point out something kind of creepy when you think about it, so just hear me out. This is Alex as a baby, right? So maybe she's like 2, maybe 3 years old in this picture. And you've been working with these scientists at Black Mesa, which I believe, again, let me know in the comments, you were 27 or 37. I think you were 27 at Black Mesa. Well, it's been 20 years since then, and you're now 47. And you're crushing on Alex, who's, what, 21 in this? I don't judge on age gaps, but I'm just saying, 21-year-old with a 47-year-old? I don't know, the math just seems a little weird. But, be fair, Gordon, I think, is in suspension for 20 years, right? So, is he technically still 27? Or is he 47? I don't know. I'll let you decide that. But to me, it makes no sense. So, one thing I'm curious about is, in this base here, they have these entrances, which, you know, of course makes sense, security. Does this mean they built all this after the Combine came? They built this over a period of 20 years? They were able to get the materials to scan people, get these lights, get these electronics, these doors. I mean, this looks like the same exact entrance at the other end of this compound. Even the same window. So I'm just saying, it's a little fishy. It makes no sense. So here you get the 0-point gravity gun, which is cool and all, but I just want to point out something fascinating about Alex. Check this out. Apparently, Alex has a really rock-hard, chiseled, muscular body. Look what happens if I fling this at her. Why am I the hero in this game? Look at her. She just took that box like a champ. Let's try that again. But I want to know what she's eating. I want to be more like Alex. That's incredible. Just saying. Her being invincible makes no sense. So here we meet Dog, which, okay, admittedly is just really, really cool. But my question is, how do they build Dog? He looks super advanced. And furthermore, if they're able to build something like Dog, how come they don't build like some kind of mech suits that they could wear? That would definitely help them take on the Combine. I don't get it. I mean, I love Dog, but it could have done so much more to stop the Combine if they wanted. This makes no sense. So, if you notice, Dog gets boxes out of here to throw to you. He got like 12 of them. Because I was busy talking and kept getting him out of here. Where did he get him from? You see what's in there? Look, now he's looking again for something. It makes no sense where I got all this from. Okay, so we get to Ravenholm, which admittedly is one of the coolest places in Half-Life 2, even though it's a totally random place to be in the middle of Half-Life 2, but still. Have you ever looked at some of these buildings? What kind of design is this? Just a giant ledge? No steps? Now you may think that's just the only one, but look, right over here. More doorways with these weird giant steps. Who made this place? Who laid this out like this? This is just terrible design, I'm sorry. This makes no sense. So when you're here, there's admittedly a few issues going on. One issue is that light has power coming from this cord. But that cord goes to this light. Where's the power actually coming from? There's just two lights with a cord between them. That makes no sense. Now you come to this body hanging here. It looks atmospheric and cool, and you can mess with the physics. But look at this cord. It's not actually attached to this body. So how is this body even moving? I mean, the physics of this make no sense. So you come across this section. We're going to come across a lot of these sections where there's traps set up. And don't get me wrong, this is cool, but what's powering this? A little gas tank? Surely this can't stand forever. I mean, sure, there's a battery there, but there's nothing connecting that battery to this. Same with this propane tank. So what is powering this? How does it stay on forever? Just saying, it makes no sense. So you come across Father Gregory, and this is just badass. This whole scene right here. Did he set up all these traps? And how does he have so much ammo for that gun of his? I get it, he's a badass, but I don't know, I'm just saying. He either has help, or has infinite ammo, or I don't know how he remains untouched, especially with some of the zombies we meet later that are fast. Just saying. This makes no sense. So here you see Father Gregory again, but that's not my issue. What's with these wires on these poles? These two aren't even connected to anything. What's going on here? And look at these wires. They go through the building, then to another pole that leads to nothing. This makes no sense. So I just want to point out, eventually you make it to this graveyard by the church. There's all these zombies. Fast zombies, poison head crabs. How did Father Gregory make it over here? How did he possibly survive? Just saying, this looks impossible, even for Gordon. This makes no sense. So when you finally leave Raven home, eventually you come over here, you come outside, you get your car, but what's powering this crane? This wire just goes to a speaker. This wire goes to this speaker, which goes to this building. So what's powering this? Not to mention these wires just go to a steel frame. So yeah, I don't know what's powering this. It makes no sense. Furthermore, again, we must be missing water somehow, because here's boats. This apparently was a dock. But what about these? This is where you would attach your chain to, right? But these are just flat. So even when there was water here, were these just like painted on, just to give the appearance you could get your boat parked here and chained up? What's going on here? Some kind of facade? I don't know. This makes no sense. So here we are. You run across this little home. You get some ammo inside, fight some combine. But again, a big theme of this game is power that doesn't make sense. How did these people get any power to their house? I don't see any telephone lines, any poles, nothing. So, I don't know. Maybe these people just lived off the earth? Just saying, it makes no sense. When you come across this puzzle later in the driving end of the game, you come across this force field and your car can't get through. And yet, you can just walk over here and try killing the people. You gotta do a whole puzzle and all that, but why didn't they just make the force field go to here? You just can't get over here at all. Why just have part of it? This makes no sense. And when you come to this little area, your ride ends with your car, and you have to battle a bunch of combine ships dropping off troops and a gunship. Problem with this is, they drop off multiple ships full of men separately. Why not just drop a bunch of them off right here at the road? You'd have like 30 combine troops just come in all the way to the lighthouse, just sweep everything and kill everyone. Why did they send in one at a time? One there, one there, one there, one over here. The combine aren't very smart. I don't know how they took over our planet when they're just this dumb at strategy. Just saying, it makes no sense. We're at another puzzle where you gotta kind of jump around all kind of objects just to avoid the sand. You have to make it all the way over here and then keep on going. What if there weren't objects on the ground for you to stand on? Again, I think Gordon just would be killed instantly. So, yeah, luck is heavily favoring him. But the fact there's these objects perfectly lined up for you to jump to doesn't make any sense. So here you get the theropod from this antlion. I forgot the name of the big ones. but I don't know. You squeeze it, and I just can't help to think it looks like an alien boob. Sure, maybe it's separated from the animal, but that's what I'm guessing it feels like. Maybe that's just weird, or maybe I just make no sense. You come to this section where you're trained on how to use this to, get the antlines to do what you want. First you have to throw it, get them to come out. Then you throw it here, get them to attack it. This snarky little Vortigaunt says, "The free man excels at all things." I think he's just being snarky and sarcastic with me. Like, hey, look at the stupid human. He knows how to throw a ball at something and get antline to attack something. Like, this isn't complicated. Squeezing it to you is not rocket science. Throwing it, also not rocket science. So again, I think this little Vortigaunt just being kind of sarcastic with me. I did well. See, you must just think I'm really stupid, so I'm on to you. How come no one else bothered to use these little pods to control the antlines? Am I the only one that's able to? You know how much this could have helped them defeat the Combine? If you had an army of antlines, you just had like 40 soldiers and each one had their own little pod? Just saying, they could have won easily. But of course, this makes no sense that they didn't. When you come over here, you have to go along these beach, turn off these things, but I'm kind of curious why the Combine have a beachfront here. Were humans going to invade or something? What is the point of this beach? I mean, I get maybe antline control, but why would they even bother? Look at this little beach section. Are the Combine, commonly going to this beach? Who cares? What is all this even for? I mean, I know they don't spend money like we do, but it seems like a waste of resources and troops. Just saying, this makes no sense. So, once you get into Nova Prospect, the whole twisted maze, I'm kind of curious, why is the Combine even taking over this prison? Don't see anybody in any of these prison cells. How have the antlines not overrun them? Now, I get it, maybe the antlines only show up because you have the pheromones. That's why they bust through the floor. But regardless, I do not understand the Combine having this prison at all. Unless I'm wrong, I don't see any human prisoners. So, why? What a waste. This makes no sense. Now, I should point out, I realize they seem to be working on some kind of human creatures here. So maybe they're experimenting, but isn't that what they do in the Citadel already? Why do they need to do it in here? Do they even understand what a prison is? I don't know. It makes no sense. One thing that I say is very weird about this game is you start out in City 17, relatively close to the Citadel, but then somehow you have to go leave City 17 through watery places, then by car, you go through Ravenholm, you go through all this stuff just to come right back to City 17 to the Citadel. Why? Why did I have to go through all that? I couldn't just go straight to the Citadel? I mean, I get it, the game would only be like an hour long, but still, it makes no sense. Of course, you happen to run into Alex over here. I don't know what the odds of that are, but it makes no sense. Now, I'm very curious about Alex's tool she keeps on her side. You'll see her use it a few times. Like, she used it on this machine and just held it up in like electricity arcs, and it magically does something to the system. She does this to a few consoles and a few different things. So I don't know if she's hacking it or overloading it, but if she's like hacking it somehow, why doesn't she just do that to like a drone? Then have the drone come back to the Citadel and then like mess up the Citadel. I don't know. There's like really no explanation of how that tool works, but whatever, you gotta let it go because it's a game. But while you're in Nova Prospect in this prison, I just want to point out a lot of these hallways and these rooms are super empty. So does that mean when the Combine took over the planet, after like 20 years, they just emptied all these kind of places out? Just like the houses and the streets? Or did the civilians remove all this stuff? None of it's really explained why everything is just so barren and empty. It just makes no sense. While Alex is hacked into here to look at Mossman, how do the aliens not realize somebody's hacked into one of their computers? There's a camera looking at Mossman. Doesn't mean there's a camera on this system looking at Alex. Just saying. So here you have to defend yourself by setting up turrets. Thankfully I set up my turrets like this, and I'm protected in here, but what would happen if there wasn't any extra turrets? Would Gordon be able to take on all these Combines that come in? Makes you wonder. Again, Gordon's very lucky. We come across this giant room, and eventually we have to defend. But I'm not quite sure why the Combine made this room so massive. All this extra room, this giant space just for these two little computers and a teleporter. Why is it so big? Again, I thought the Combine were smarter than humans, but I'm getting to question that. This makes no sense. Now we come back out to this original location. Here's all this stuff again, but somehow it's broke. This is broken off on its side. This swing fell off. The seesaw broke off. How did that happen? I mean, I know I get they're fighting, but it doesn't quite explain how this stuff happened. You know, just whatever. Makes no sense. I'm not an architect major, but I'm pretty sure when a little tunnel going from one building to another falls, it doesn't go like this. It broke off like in a perfect rectangle shape, clipped the building on top of that. Look at this. That's not how that works. This makes no sense. So here you see this ivy growing on this building. You know, and that's pretty cool to see, you know, overgrowth and stuff, but when you go up to it, it's just painted on the wall. Well, somebody just graffitied this to look like ivy. Lame. There's not always people at these guard. What's stopping the civilians from just putting a little ladder up and climbing this little wall? I mean, it's not like it's electrified. Just saying. So I just shot 2 combine, and I just want to point out that is a lot of blood. Where did all this blood come from? I mean, I'm not a doctor either, but I'm pretty sure getting shot twice doesn't produce that much blood. That makes no sense. So as you go through the buildings in this game, you notice some common features, like missing doors, or this. A lot of bricked up doorways. Why are so many doorways bricked up? Why not just brick off the whole building if you're gonna brick off certain things? Like, is it condemned? Why are some areas blocked? Like that I get rubble because there's fighting, but I don't get why there's so many brick doorways. It makes no sense. So we come across this little stairwell. We have to go down these stairs over here. But why is there a black void pit in the middle of this little stairwell? Was this a design choice? So in case, you know, like maybe you drop your cell phone, it just falls down for all eternity. Combine put this here? This just makes no sense. So here's another place you come to, not just a little bit further down. I'm not sure what the layout here is supposed to be. This a building? Why does it have a slope that leads down to a doorway? Some pits. Like, again, I'm American, so maybe this is some kind of foreign architecture. I've never seen a layout like this. And there's like walkways above. What is all this? This makes no sense. Further up in this room, it continues to make no sense. There's a little platform that goes all the way down and then up to this level. Why? Come over here, there's a ladder that only goes halfway up this with flying pipes. Again, is this a design choice? What is going on here? This makes no sense. So here, there's a sniper you have to get, but what I'm more concerned about is these little things. They like chomp down and they slowly make their way through the city, but it's been 20 years. You mean to tell me the Citadel Tower has only made it this far? In 20 years' time, does this thing move like 1 foot a day? It just, you know, for the time span, this thing should have taken over the whole city by now and had it walled off. Just saying, it makes no sense. So as you come towards Barney, you come across, you know, this destroyed building. You see this fire here, but what exactly is burning? This is just concrete and steel. I'm not a scientist, but I'm pretty sure this isn't flammable. So I don't know what's going on here, but it makes no sense. So we come across this big battle scene that we're gonna have to go fight at. I'm kind of confused why the Combine didn't do more to block off this area. Like, have these little gates, energy gates, just go across all of the fence. Why not have these little steel, like, walls walling off the whole front of this building so nobody could get in? I don't know. Just seemed it'd be more logical. But nope, of course, this makes no sense how they have it set up. So we're taking cover under this little building, but kind of confused. Look at this pillar. It just ends right here. The rest are all normal. So is this normally designed like this, so it just ends loading normally? Again, these designs make no sense. And finally, we make it to the Citadel. You know, you come down these rocks, you jump here, go up here and over there. Might I say, this is like Death Star weak spot problems. Like, this happens to be the one spot you could get into the Citadel really easy. Somebody didn't plan very well for this. This makes no sense. But when you come to this area, you have to go inside of this to be carried on up. Who in their right mind would actually just risk going into one of these things? We don't know where it's going. You could end up right there where you die. Just saying. This makes no sense. Now, one has to wonder, while I'm going through this, Whatever happened to all the creatures from Zen? In the Half-Life games, Opposing Force, Blue Shift, you see all these creatures, but in this game, all we have are the barnacles and the head crabs. What happened to some of the other creatures? Some creatures are missing, and then how come we didn't see some of these creatures in Half-Life? Or we didn't see the Combine? There's a lot of questions. I do realize 20 years has gone by, but you'd also think the planet would be full of a lot more Zen-like creatures instead of just City 17. So I don't know, it just seems really odd. It makes no sense. But once you drop out of your pod, all your weapons get confiscated and eradicated, but your gravity gun, it's changed into this like super gravity gun, right? But my question is, what if that didn't happen? What if your gun just got evaporated too? What would have Gordon done when these soldiers come? He would have never gone to Alex and all them. So again, plot armor, just saying. So can someone explain to me the layout of these this base in the Citadel? You have to go along all these long paths, then come all the way back up here. Why not just create a little like section right here through this little wall? Better yet, why not create a little section that just goes around here? Why do we have to go up and down these long paths? Again, these aliens are supposed to be smarter than us, right? They took over the planet, and yet their design is terrible. It makes no sense. So when you come here, you could grab one of these, and you could shoot it around. I mean, in reality, if you shot this in here, wouldn't this trigger the rest? And then maybe this thing would just have a total meltdown and destroy this place. Just saying, that's what I would think would happen. Because these things seem super delicate. Just saying, it makes no sense. Might I just add that this is the slowest elevator I've ever seen. You think with alien tech this thing would just go up quickly, or maybe even have teleportation? It's slow, and it has no protection. I mean, yes, when you're going up it does have a barrier around it, but, still, the way they designed this, it makes no sense. When you come to this little hallway, you have to fight a bunch of Combine and Overwatch, yada yada, and then you fight a Strider, but, this is where the Strider came from. How did he get here? I don't see any cranes around here. I see those little things that you shuffled on in the pods down there, but how did the Strider get here? This makes no sense. Here, you have to go in another one of these again and get carried up, but why would you do that? The first time you did this, you lost all your weapons and nearly got killed, and thankfully got your gravity gun converted over. Why would I want to take one of these again? For the game's sake, you do, but still, it makes no sense. I'm also kind of curious, how did they make this tall tower with all this stuff? Did they build this piece by piece? Was it teleported here? How did it happen? Just really confusing. So we made it to the office, and we escaped, all that fun stuff. And I gotta admit, this is a pretty nice looking setup. This nice little round carpet here, but there's not really much to do up here. You got this weird computer, but I'm pretty sure this is just an alien computer, so it's not like you could surf the internet, play a game. Yeah, it's kind of a nice desk, but, admittedly, this chair is kind of nice. I do like this chair, but my point is, this office, there's nothing to do here. And where does he go to the bathroom? I don't see any bathrooms here. What does he eat? What does he drink? And how does he know how to run this? He uses this to move us around on this, but does anybody understand any of these things? Green button, colorful button, other button. How does he know how to run this? This is all alien tech. Just saying, none of this makes any sense. As cool as the Citadel is, you ever looked at all these details? These aren't wires or bars. This is just a flat painting. So most of the Citadel, this is all fake up here. Does this mean most of the Citadel is just walls and ceilings with paint all over them to make them look technologically advanced? It sure seems that way. That would explain why everything looks so drab and boring, because most of this is fake. This whole design makes no sense. So I just want to point out, when you're below the map, this is City 17. It looks like there's like a lake here, yada yada yada. Does this look like the same City 17 we've been playing through? The drab city with no real electricity, barely running through it? Look at all these lights on these streets. Look at all these buildings. I mean, I know it's flat, but my point is, this is not the same City 17 I just went through. This whole thing makes no sense. Also, here's City 17 from above. Again, that doesn't look like the same City 17 I was. I don't know where this is supposed to be. I think this kind of reminds me of England. That looks like the river that goes through it. So, yeah, just saying, this whole place doesn't make sense. So here we have G-Man telling you about how great you did and all that, but if G-Man can jump in and out of time, And he's like this powerful person that works for somebody even more powerful. How come he didn't do this? How come he didn't stop the Combine? I mean, I know he has his own selfish reasons, of course. Still, just saying. He's way more powerful than I am. And that was everything wrong with Half-Life 2. Yeah, Half-Life 2 is a harder game to pick apart because a lot of the main issues I have happen to be about the same things, like electric wiring going the wrong places and other electric issues or weird geometry, because obviously the game has improved a lot since the original Half-Life series. There's no promise that you guys enjoyed that video fully because there's not a lot to pick on. However, if you look hard enough, there's always going to be issues in a game, especially like story-wise with Half-Life 2. Again, I love the Half-Life series, so I'm looking forward to doing episodes 1 and 2. And honestly, I don't even remember episodes 1 and 2, so it'll be a good refresher to play them again. If you guys did enjoy this video though, and you thought it was at least a little bit funny, like, comment, subscribe. Lets me know you want to see more. Barely anybody that watches my videos subscribes. They just come back and watch them unsubbed. So I encourage you, subscribe. Costs you nothing, and it helps me out. And yeah, if you enjoyed what you see here, hopefully you'll come back for my next video, in which I do episode 1 and then episode 2. I may even combine them. We'll see. That said, I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.